Welcome to European Spaceflight with me, Andrew Parsonson. I'm excited to welcome Venture Orbital CEO Stan Maximin to discuss the company's Series A and an upcoming rebranding. Stan, congratulations on securing a 10 million euro Series A. Can you tell me a little bit about the organizations that led the round and how you intend to utilize the funding?
Of course. Thank you very much. Of course, Andrew, always a pleasure being able to discuss with you. So we are really proud to be able to announce that we have closed that 10 million Series A fundraise. It's a very important milestone. I dare to say that it's the most important one in our journey, because with that kind of funding, we'll be able to prove, of course, our technologies, such as our rocket engine that we have already received, that's currently being instrumentalized and getting ready to be tested. We are working on the test bench as I'm speaking to you, and ready to hot fire test the engine before the end of the year. Of course, the engine is good. It's important. It's one of the most complex part in the rocket, but we have many other things to do and plenty on our plates. So it will also allow us to do major progress on the development of the tanks, of the structure, of the fairing, of course, on all the electronics, the onboard electronics, and the software of the rocket, as well as all the ground proximity means necessary to get the launcher in the air. So very excited. A lot of work. We have more than doubled the team size in the last 2 months. So yeah, very very excited to be able to share that milestone. And this has been led by great investors as well. So that's why I'm also very proud to be accompanied by great companies such as Crédit Mutuel Innovation. That's one of the biggest French banks and one of the biggest European banks. Also by Expansion Ventures, the new the space-dedicated venture capital firm in France. Also BPI, also the state bank, as well as our historical investors like UI Investment, and also industrial partners. That's very important to us because they are supporting the development with, of course, their knowledge, their experience, but also with their participation. So we have ADF, one of the major industrial company in space. We have Comat, and we have also Nicomatic. Very proud to be able to share the adventure with them, and looking forward to the future of the company.
With the Series A announcements, you also are announcing a rebranding. You're going from Venture Orbital to Latitude. Can you explain the thinking behind that rebranding?
Of course. We in the company, we all love Venture Orbital Systems because it's been the last 2 years. We've been with that brand through the most exciting and difficult moments. But the problem is that, we want to make our company not only a launcher company, but a space mobility and a general space company. And when you are a space company in the next 10 years, you're not just a space company, you are one of the biggest tech company in the world, and that's what we are focusing on. And the big problem that we feel is with space companies is that they are branding themselves as space companies. And for me, it's a mistake in the future. So we started with that in mind. What can we do to create a name and a brand that is going to go through the ages, through the changes in the industry, but also representing the advantages that we are giving our customers. We also needed a simpler name because 3 words is way too much. I hated it. I personally hate it now. And we needed a word that is French, because I mean, we are proud of our French roots, but also pronounceable and understandable in English language, which is the case of Latitude. So yes, that's basically why Latitude. It's you can interpret it also as all the latitudes that we can reach with our services, but it's also a name that's much simpler. That's not space, you know. It's not Latitude Space, it's not Latitude Orbital, it's not Latitude Aerospace. We don't care about that. We wanted just Latitude, full stop. And really excited for this. Of course, we have new logo, we have new branding in general. That means new colors. You will see the rocket. It's absolutely stunning. So yeah.
Perfect. I mean, talking about the rocket, am I correct in saying that there is also a few changes that you've made to the rockets since it was a Venture Orbital Systems rocket?
I mean, you know, it's a product. It's a living product, of course. So it's evolving with the iteration that we do on the rockets, but not that much, I'd say. Yeah, still the same rocket. We just have now a more increased range of capabilities in space to serve more customers and to really. But we really how to say it. I don't have the word in English, but we really wanted to also keep the focus on what we are offering, but just to evolve with the evolution of the market. And the evolution of the market means that we need to adapt ourselves to the average number of satellites to be deployed in a constellation per orbital plans, and that's what we need. So, you know, we are now able to launch more than 100 kilograms into space, around 100 kilograms into space, even more if you go lower. So yeah, we are now you know, much more capable and also much more versatile for customers, and being able to do difficult missions, which would require usually a micro launcher plus a space duct. So that's, you know, very important thing to us.
I mean, you talked a lot about giving Venture Orbital or Latitude, thus becoming more flexibility, making it so it's not just a launch company, it's also a technology company, that it's not just a small rocket, it's a capable rocket that can service a lot of missions. How important is this flexibility going to be for space companies like yours and other launch companies that are wanting to compete in the European market? Is that flexibility going to be important?
Yeah, flexibility is important, but it's not only the flexibility of the rockets. From what we've seen, our experience and the discussions and the work that we have been doing with almost all the new constellations coming, because we had space phase 1, you know, now it's phase 2, and the phase 1 was space entrepreneurs or space professionals starting new ventures. Phase 2 is anyone starting new space ventures, and it's way different because these guys have no limits in their minds. We are currently seeing what happened to the digital market 20 years ago and even still now. So what we need for these people to be able to deploy their ideas and their services into space, to develop their infrastructures, we need two things. One, to be affordable, which is already the case. I mean, of course, we need to keep being more and more affordable, but now you can deploy your constellation, your global service constellation, for around 200 million, which is basically which is less than what current software companies need to go global. So it's not that much, you know. It's a lot, of course. It's a lot of money, but it's not that much compared to all the other startups in the software or the marketplace field. So that's already acquired. But now we need speed, because when you build a software, it takes 6 months and a year, you know, to have a prototype. When you build a satellite, you need 3 years from the ground up. You have from the payload building the satellite, mission analysis, of course, knowing what your constellation will do, etc., etc., etc. It's too much. We have to reduce the time from the idea to the time of first revenues and profitability, and that's what will change the space industry towards a more sustainable economy. For this, we need speed, and that's what we try to achieve with our, of course, our products, our services, and partners, so that you can come to us and we can deploy. Our final goal is to deploy your idea into space in less than a year, and that's the game changer in the industry.
Perfect. And one last question, in terms of your development timeline, what are we looking at in the next 6 months to a year? What are your goals? And then are we still looking at a maiden launch in what is it, 2026, I think, 2024?
2024. Yeah, currently, testing the engine, as I told you, in the next 6 months, even less than 6 months. Testing the engine, also working on things that you cannot always see, like co-developing the tanks, etc. So we will destroy some part of the launcher to ensure that they are working correctly. But yes, building all that all of these subsystems. But there is massive work that's currently being done by our team for, of course, development of the engine, but now it's done, but also the development of the test bench. It's incredibly hard, and we are doing something at a speed and a cost that I think has never been seen in Europe. And I say in Europe because it's easier to test things in the US. So we have some constraints, of course, but which are normal, of course. But yes, we are doing something quite exceptional. So now it has to work, and we'll be able to to communicate on this. But yeah, we are doing something quite incredible, building a rocket engine test bench in less than 3 months. So
yeah, that is amazing. No, perfect. And I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. I know with all the announcements, you must be incredibly busy at the moment. So I really appreciate that. And I look forward to those seeing those engine tests coming in the next couple months.
Yeah. Of course, we'll share with you the success.
I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you.